Perfect. So we got rid of our cat sprite. We're going to choose... I like this one because it's showing me different colors. I may be able to change those colors if I want. I think I'm just going to go with the standard ball sprite there. Yep. Now, under costumes, it's going to be important that the center of the picture is the center of the ball. Usually you can see a little crosshair there. I don't see it because the ball's on top of it, but that's going to be important that the ball is in the center of the costume. Okay, so that is my first sprite. I'm going to get that guy moving along the screen. Cool. So let's make a event loop or an event thingy there. And the other thing I want to do is make a forever loop. We haven't used one of those really yet. That's under the orange control. So that's going to be my Pong game is going to run inside of this loop, and it's going to update itself 30 times a second. That's what Scratch does. It updates, it runs loops 30 times a second. I think it does. It tries to anyways. So let's get this ball moving. Let's get him to move 10 steps. Let's watch this. Boom. There. He moved. Okay. Now he's stuck back at the side. So if you ever want to start the ball somewhere, I'm just going to pick a spot where I want him to start for the game. And then I'm going to use this go to X and Y command right after my project starts. So that way, if the ball moves and I go to restart it, it starts it at the spot that I chose. If I chose over here, oops, and I click go to like that, it will pick that spot. It fills in where the ball is on the X and Y. It's on an X and Y axis, by the way. Okay. But I like it right in the middle for now. Okay. And I'm not going to use this move command. I don't like it. Because then I have to set the angle if I want him to move in other directions and all that stuff. So what I'm actually going to do is there's some built-in variables for the X and Y position of every sprite, and they're right here. Okay. There's an X position and a Y position. We can see them there on the screen. Shows me where they are. They're built-in variables, basically. They're little circular bubbles for variables. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change X and change Y by 1 each, maybe 1 pixel each. This might move them a little slow, but we could speed it up later. That is pretty slow. And you can see, yeah, 3 could be good. You can see them climbing up. Okay, I've actually just clicked on these little check marks to see what's happening, and they are increasing in speed there. Cool. Okay, so there we go. I actually kind of want to stop it there and like and bounce the ball, so later I can take advantage of the fact that it's actually printing those variables on the screen. So I could stop it there and say, well, my ball is going past 160. If it gets past 160, stop it and make it bounce backwards. That's what we want to do to get it to bounce. So 3 was good for a decent speed. Let's try it out. Yeah, that's not bad. You could even make this a variable and then change the speed of your ball like as your game goes on. But let's not worry about that for now. Now there is some code in here that says if on edge bounce. We don't want to use that. We want to make our own if statement to make this thing bounce. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to watch this ball. I'm going to try to stop it when it hits the top. It's going pretty fast right now, so I might slow it down just so I can stop it and get my number for the Y position of the ball when it hits the top of the screen. So let's try that one more time. Go, little ball, go. And then I'm going to stop it here. Boom. It's about 160, I would say, when it hits the top wall. So let's stop it from going past 160. I'm going to use an if statement to do that. put that in there. Okay. And I'm going to put a greater than in there, which is this one. Hard to see, but that's the one. That's greater than. And I want Y position to be, if it's ever greater than 160, I got to bounce my ball. Okay, so where is the Y variable? It's built in. It's under blue, and it's the little circle for Y position. For now, if we want to test it, we could get the ball to say hello. Watch this. The ball will actually say hello when it gets past the top of the screen. Hopefully, if we did it right. Will he start saying hello? Yeah, hello. It even lagged a little bit there. Okay. So, what we want to do when the Y position gets greater than 160 is we actually want this to become a -1. So this is something that's going to need to change. We should have a variable in there that can switch between 1 and -1. So let's make our own variable. I'm going to call mine Y step, for the step that the Y takes every time the ball moves. When my program starts, I guess I'll set it to, I'll set Y step to 3. Is that a good speed? Well, I'll set it to 1 for now. Okay. Here I will put Y step there instead of 1. And if I run my program, nothing should change. It's not going to bounce yet, but there we go. It doesn't do anything. However, I have added a variable to my program so that if I do want to change Y step, I can. Just go set Y step to -1. Theoretically now, as soon as Y gets greater than 160, it should change Y by -1 and make it go down. So I am controlling how it bounces off the wall. Let's see here if that does that. Kadoonk. Wow. Did it. Watch the Y position. It's going up by 1, going up by 1, going up by 1. As soon as it gets to 160, it starts going down by 1. Okay. I'm liking that. Let's get out of the big screen there. Okay. So, our next problem is that it's hitting the side of the screen in the X position. So I'm just going to run this one more time, and I'm going to stop it when it hits the side of the screen on the right, so that I can get an X position that I don't want it to be greater than. So I'm going to stop it there, about 220, maybe a little less than 220, is where it's hitting the side of the screen. So I don't want it to go over 220. So I'm going to make an if statement, another if statement. But this time I'm going to make sure the X position doesn't go over 220. For me, it's 220. For you, it might be different depending on what ball you chose. So I am going to choose the greater than. I am going to find my X variable here, X position. And if it's ever greater than 220, I need my I need this variable to change, right? I need this to change, X to change by -1 instead of just 1. So very similar idea with the Y. So what I'm going to do is make a variable here that called X step, that is how much my ball moves in the X direction. X step. Okay. I will set that when my program first starts to 1. It's a good habit to make sure you're initializing your variables, even though you might not necessarily need to do that. It's a good habit to make sure they're set to something when you first start your program. And then here I will set X step to -1. Let's see what happens here. Goon. Ah! I know what I did wrong. I forgot to put X step here. Okay. Hey, Tom. Will it bounce, folks? Will it bounce? It did. Okay, so take a second. Try to get it to bounce off the bottom. Your goal in the next 15 minutes is to try to get it to bounce off the bottom and the top. Okay? And then I'll show you how to